All right, whenever you're set.
I don't know if it's on, but it's first it's supposed to be black. Okay.
Yes.
Neil Steinberg, a writer for the Chicago Sun-Times newspaper, stated that if theme parks reach a bland, safe, homogenized white bread America, the Renaissance Fair is at the other end of the social spectrum, a whiff of the occult, a flash of danger, and a hint of the erotic. Here, they let you throw axes. Here are more beer and bosoms than you'll find in all of Disney World. I can say that is definitely true. Today, I'm going to take you on an introductory tour of a typical day at the Renaissance Fair. First, I'm going to talk about the different merchant booths that you can see there. Then I'm going to talk about the different costumes that you can experience or just view on other people. And then I'm going to tell you about the different kinds of shows that you can go watch there and the events that take place. So for my first point, the different merchant booths. When you first walk into the fair, you will find that you're just walking through an aisle of booths. All kinds of different merchant booths. Pretty much the Renaissance Fair is merchants selling their things. You can see all sorts of things, miscellaneous items. They sell clothes, and it's not uncommon to see weapons, legitimate weapons, being sold there. You can buy swords, knives, daggers, axes, even maces I've seen sometimes. It's pretty crazy. And they actually can hurt people, but you know, you're not allowed to do that at the fair. It's kind of crazy. Let's see. Others sell costumes, which I'll talk about in a little while. And And the third, and I'd say probably most important merchant booth you can find there are the food and refreshment booths. They sell all kinds of foods. Probably not something you'll see every day, like a Bratsworth sausage or the all-famous turkey leg. It's about this big. It's pretty good. It's typical. It was a typical meal back in the Renaissance time, so pretty much they try to reenact as much as possible. Drinks, they can't really reenact so much, maybe in the ales and the lagers and stuff, but they have root beer and soda and floats, ice cream, stuff like that. So it's not like it's too far off from today if you just want to take a break from the Renaissance and eat normal food, modern day food. All right? My second point are the different kinds of costumes you can find there. Oh wait, no, I forgot to talk about the game booths you can find there. Game booths, those are probably the most fun thing that you can do there. My favorite is the archery. I'm not sure, I don't think they're real bows because you don't want to hurt anyone, but it's pretty fun. They also have axe throwing and dagger throwing. Another one that I can't really explain, so I have a visual here, is called Test Your Strength. You've seen this before. Pretty much, you hit a mallet to a catapult that sends a metal piece up to a bell. Typically, they have it shown as a giant that you are trying to kill because you're that strong. They have one for weaker folks, you know, small kids or something that's about 6 feet tall. That one there, I'd say, is about 15 feet tall. So if you're usually only really buff guys can do that one. I've seen some guy try and it only goes a little bit, but they're pretty heavy duty. They're the real thing. All right, now I'm going to talk about the different costumes you can find there. So many different people dress up. It's actually pretty exciting. You'll never be bored looking at costumes because no two are alike. People put their costumes together, they buy costumes there. It's all legitimate. In 2006, the San Gabriel Valley Tribune reported that there were around 10,000 visitors per day. And of course, many of them wore costumes. So going through the fair, you're going to find more people wearing costumes than regular modern day getup. You're going to see pirates and witches and wizards. Mostly you're going to see wenches and peasants and lords and ladies. Sometimes you'll get a weird, corny Merlin, or the latest trend has been Doctor Who, because they're traveling back in time to the Renaissance Fair. It is really actually kind of cool. Some of them look like the real thing. I know, it's great. So they pretend that they're traveling back in time. I myself like to make some of my own costumes. This one is This one is probably my oldest one. That's 2 years old. I've actually made that from scratch. The wings I made out of cellophane paper, cardboard, coat hanger, and glue and paint. Everything else I kind of just found t-shirts and rags and threw it together. That one over there is just like some maiden thing I threw together. I didn't make any of This one is my steampunk costume. Steampunk is also a famous trend lately that everyone's been getting into. You just wear cool stuff, chains and gears. And that one's what I'm working on right now. It's not finished, that's why it's all over the floor and ugly and whatever. It's gonna be my belly dance get up. Alright, let's see. So yeah, like I showed here, a lot of them are homemade, so you'll never find any two that are alike. It's really fun to just look at people there. Alright, walking around the fair can get pretty tiring as well. So they always have stages set up for events that you can go watch there. One of the more popular ones is a show called Mooney, which is pretty much his staging. He's a jester. He does all sorts of things. He juggles and he eats fire torches. He also tightrope walks. Sometimes he does this all at the same time. I've seen it. It's pretty entertaining. I don't think he eats the fire while he's tightrope walking, but he juggles torches lit on fire while he's walking a tightrope. Another popular show, which is not for children, is pretty crude, is the what are they called? The washing wenches, the washing well wenches. I've never seen the show, so I can't really say much about it, but I know that they typically involve the audience and they splash everyone, and it's a lot of fun. Another very popular event that goes on once a day at the Renaissance Fair is the parade. Typically, it's pretty much a procession to show you all the different classes during the Renaissance Fair. So at first you'll have the drummers going down through the merchant booths announcing, oh, we're having a parade now, make way, make way. So they have the procession. First they have the servants, and then they have the lords and ladies, then they have atop a high pedestal a queen held by many muscled men, the Queen of England, an actress, but she's the same every year. She's very beautiful, and it's always fun to watch. Right behind her then comes maybe some dukes, more servants, and then right behind them the straggling peasants. It's pretty fun to watch. But there are two other events that I really love watching also. One of them is, I've never really seen one, they do battle reenactments. Another one is jousting. And I have a quote here that I find it pretty humorous. Michael McCollum, writer of the Record newspaper, explains jousting as knights talking smack for a while, then getting on very large horses. Both man and steed are in full armor and on cue charge at each other, aiming a long lance with the goal of skewering his opponent like a shish kebab. In case you can't really visualize that, I have a picture right here showing exactly what jousting is. It is pretty much what I said in visual. Usually they're acted out, they will not hurt each other, these are not real lances, but I have been to a Renaissance fair up in Big Bear where they were real, and it was pretty intense to watch. It was very exciting, no blood. Some of it was choreographed, but you could tell they were wearing real armor and the whole getup. It was very exciting. All right. As you can interpret from my speech about the Renaissance Fair, I'm very passionate about it, and I feel that it is a very exciting place. There is always some merchant booth that you can go look into. You can buy items and buy costumes, and if you want to wear costumes, you can wear them there. It's very fun. I've also talked about how you won't get bored from looking at all the costumes, and how there are always events and shows that you can go see. So, now that you know about the Renaissance Fair, I'm sure you can see that it is a very entertaining and educational day out, and I encourage you to go see it, as I do every single year. Thank you. Good. Yeah, the costume shop actually does a real trip sometimes, right? Yeah. Yay.
You get it to
Okay, Jose, what did you think?
Okay, so today Nicole took us to the magic and fairy tale filled Renaissance Fair, typical day in the Renaissance Fair. She covered booths, like merchant booths, and she talked about costumes and how there were a ton of costumes you could look at. And she also talked about events and shows, like when she talked about a parade as an example. I liked how her intro or hook was really engaging, it was really creative. She had a clear voice, she had a good sense of humor throughout the speech. And it felt very personal. It felt like she was telling a story as opposed to just delivering a speech from her outline. And there was a good balance of eye contact and reading from a card. I felt like she was looking at us for the most part while she was talking. Some of the things that she can improve on, I don't know what happened. Maybe, like you just mentioned, your cards were kind of mixed up.
Yeah.
But you seemed kind of lost in a couple parts of the speech. Maybe a little more citing, because I felt like I heard maybe a couple, or maybe I missed some. I did remember you citing a quote, and you had a good citation for that. And then you had a lot of pictures about the jousting and one type of booth and your costumes. But I felt like when you were talking about the booths, maybe you could add some more pictures to that.
Pictures of booths.
But it was okay. I didn't really find it that distracting. The visual aids were awesome. I felt like they clearly gave us a visual of what was a typical day in a Renaissance fair. I liked your costumes, and I liked how, like I said earlier, it was very personal. Like when you added the pictures when you were wearing your costume. And overall, it was just a really fluid speech. It was very relaxed, and I felt like you were just talking to us. It was good.
Thank you.
All right, well, yeah, I would agree with about 90% of what you said. I think that all, maybe even higher. I thought that the speech was pretty solid. I liked the attention device especially. I thought it started off really well. There's a very clear setup of what you're doing. I do think you need to give us a little bit more justification on this. How many Renaissance fairs are there? You did mention at one point a number of people that might be attending a Renaissance fair. Pardon me, at any given time. Something about the history of them or how long they've been around, especially here in Southern California. I think there are probably a lot of ways that you could maybe fill that in a little bit with some more concrete information. Otherwise, it's really dependent on kind of description of things that you've seen. And I do like the fact that you're talking from firsthand experience and you're sharing with us your observations. When you talk about the costumes that you create, that's great. And I thought that was fine. I think that you need to maybe spend a little bit less time on those, and let's get some examples of all those other things that you were talking about, because it just seems like, from Pirates to Doctor Who, we ought to be seeing some of these things. And it wouldn't surprise me at all that there are pictures of people at Renaissance fairs wearing all these kinds of costumes that are out there that you ought to be able to use. The exact thing that Jose was mentioning at one point jumped into my head was I was listening. You're talking about the merchandise booths and all the stuff they're selling. I'm going, why are we not seeing a picture of those booths set up? Here's the lane of booths that goes on, and here's what you'd see in the bin. Over here are the daggers, over here are the dirks, and over here are the maces. What's the difference between a dagger and a dirk?
One of them is curved.
Ah, there you go. I believe you. I don't know. You said it with such confidence. I'm willing to accept that conclusion. But I mean. That just seems like it's a natural kind of thing to put in there. So I think there's some opportunities that you miss. On the other hand, I thought you did a couple of things that were interesting, like your own costumes. I thought that worked pretty well. The presentation, I do think sometimes that because it's informal and you're doing it from your own point of view, that sometimes you get casual about it, like it's just, I'm throwing in an editorial comment and I'm just tossing it off kind of thing. And you want to be a little bit more controlled and a little bit more focused on what you're trying to get by. A little bit less of that, and I think it'll come across more like it's prepared as opposed to it's just something that you're winging through.
Okay.
And I think that would help. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.